All it takes is the first step, the first brick, the first plan, the first moment when vision becomes action. Growth isn't instant. It's intentional. It's about charting a path, learning, adapting, and building something greater. Every project faces obstacles, every dream encounters doubt, but the difference between a vision and reality, it's the determination to keep going. But you're here. You've already taken the first step. You've weathered the challenges, adapted, and grown. Now it's about pushing further, dreaming bigger, and building towards something greater than ever before. You've proven you can do it. This is your moment to take what you've built and make it unstoppable. Because this isn't just about what you've overcome, it's about where you're headed next.
Today, we're not going to just talk about constructing businesses. We're going to talk about constructing dreams and legacies.
He was named to Inc. magazine's 30 Under 30 World's Coolest Entrepreneurs. He was also named to Impact 100 list Best Young Entrepreneurs at the White House and the United Nations.
The man, the myth, the legend of JobTread.
Eric Fortenberry.
Eric Fortenberry.
It's Eric Fortenberry. Eric Fortenberry.
Life is too short to not love what you do, to not work with the people that you care about, and to focus on making an impact on the world around you. Most people would quit. Most people would throw in the towel and give up. And that's why most businesses fail. Being an entrepreneur is not easy.
You can hit your goals. You can build a successful business. This is not rocket science. You owe it to yourself to build a successful and profitable business. A rising tide lifts all boats. And we can create massive waves together.
A rising tide lifts all boats. What an incredible message to kick us off. A rising tide lifts all boats. And let me tell you, every one of you in this room is part of that tide. But here's the thing. It's not just us lifting you. You are the force behind JobTread's growth. You are the ones who inspire us to work harder, to innovate, and to dream bigger. This isn't just a conference. This is a celebration of what we have accomplished together, and it's a launch pad for where we're headed. So let's dive into the next few days with energy, purpose, and a shared vision to make what we're building truly unstoppable. Are you ready to make waves together? I can't hear you. Are you ready to make waves together? 2 years ago, we launched the first JobTread Connect, and we had around 200 people, a small but mighty group of people who believed in what we were building. And today, look around this room. We have nearly 1,000 people here. This is incredible. This room is filled with home builders,
remodelers, pool builders, deck builders, painters, electricians, and so many others who are helping us shape the future of this industry. We've also got 45 incredible sponsors who are also our partners here supporting you all and this event. We wouldn't be here without them. And one of our incredible sponsors is Home Depot this year. That one is personal. I remember, it's probably like 3 years ago, I was sitting in my living room with my wife, Deja, here, and we were talking about how amazing it would be to have Home Depot as our partner one day. It felt like such a far-off idea, such a long shot. But with a whole lot of persistence, here we are. Funny enough, though, my connection to Home Depot goes much farther back. In 1997, I also hit them up to sponsor my Eagle Scout project. And they donated all of the lumber and the materials that enabled me to rebuild a playground at my church. Who knew that they would help me out twice in my lifetime? Once as a teenager, I think I'm like 13 or 14 there, and now as the CEO of JobTread. And I'm so excited to say that we have finally launched the global catalog featuring Home Depot. But this event, it isn't just about one sponsor or one company. It's about all of you. Our shared stories, the challenges, and the vision of what we're building together. So let me take a step back, and I want to share the JobTread story, how we came to be, why we exist, and how each of you is part of our incredible journey. I've been in your shoes. I know the grind. I know what it's like to run a construction business. But JobTread didn't start with this grand vision or this perfectly polished plan. It started in my front yard swapping drinks with my landscaper. What began as small talk about our business quickly turned into a deep dive, and that's when the cracks started to show. On the surface, everything looked great, very professional. Her trucks were wrapped, top-notch work. But behind the scenes, let's just say her operation wasn't quite as seamless as the sod she was laying. When I visited her office, it was total chaos. Papers everywhere, no systems, no processes. At one point, I thought she wasn't charging me because she really valued all of the help I was giving her. Turns out she wasn't charging half her customers because she had no idea who was being charged. She couldn't figure out why she wasn't making any money on her jobs either. And when we started digging in and doing the job costing, what we uncovered, it was truly jaw-dropping. Her own crews were robbing her blind. They were over-purchasing materials and returning them for store credit later. They were selling her own inventory out of her own shop. It's just heartbreaking to see someone so talented be undermined by her own crew because she didn't have systems in place to help her catch that. And that's where the seed for JobTread came. It was shortly after that, a buddy of mine who was running a construction company, he asked me to come over and help him figure out how to scale his business. They were at a much larger scale, about 5 years old, doing $5 million in revenue, had 10 employees, but they were hitting a ceiling. They couldn't break through. They couldn't figure out how to scale. So I went in, it was like deja vu all over again. Papers, binders everywhere. Timesheets literally walking in the door, getting stacked onto some pile, printing off every bill. Like, it was just a total mess. They had people manually typing things into this spreadsheet and copying it to this spreadsheet, eventually entering it into QuickBooks. And so, it was very apparent to me, software guy, like, hey, you guys just need some software. Let me help you find something. We'll get it implemented. And that's when I did a deep dive. I looked at everything out there that I could possibly find. Made a huge spreadsheet, all the features, the pros, the cons, the cost, what it was going to take to implement. But at the end of the day, I struggled. Everything, it looked so antiquated or so complicated, super expensive, was going to take a whole team of people to customize. And I struggled to make a recommendation for the guys. And the owner, Cody, one day, he calls and says, Eric, You're a software guy. Can't you just build us something? Hell no. You guys aren't in a position to maintain that. I'm not wanting a full-time job. There's no way we're going to create something here for you. There's got to be something. Let me keep looking. But the more I thought about it, the more I talked to my wife about it, she helped me realize, she's like, Eric, this is an enormous industry, just like the last one you're in. And they're lagging in technology. You can make an impact here. So I went back to Cody. I said, Cody, you know what? I think I am willing to do it under 3 conditions. 1, I take over CEO. Need the full ability to right the ship, to hire, to fire, to implement whatever systems, processes we need. 2, I'll give you 1 year of my time. I will come in every day. I will get this thing back on track. And 3, everything I build is my intellectual property. So if we have, this has the potential to become my next software company, then I can do that. Said, Eric, you're hired. Made me a partner, took over the business. And I knew the very first thing we needed to do was get organized. All of the information was everywhere. We had to focus on getting organized. But when I really, looked at everything, there were 2 main reasons why we were falling short. We were either misbidding our job or we were misrunning it. How many of you can relate to that? So I started at estimating. I wanted to understand how come we can't seem to price these jobs accurately. We were struggling. We couldn't hit our target profit margin for the life of us. We were targeting a 30% profit margin on every job. And what I uncovered, besides the fact that I think they were just pulling numbers out of thin air, is that they didn't use margin to calculate the price. They didn't understand the difference between markup and margin. They were marking their job up 30%. Well, that's only going to get you a 23% profit margin. We're literally shooting ourselves in the foot right out of the gate. And that's when I knew we needed to build a job budget. I wanted them to put away their calculators, put away all their pens and just all the scratch pads and the notes and everything. Like, we needed to figure out every single cost from our labor, our material, the equipment, everything that was going to go into this job. I wanted them to document that into a budget with a clearly defined scope of work. And we would automatically calculate the price for them. That was a huge transition for us. Then we also, though, needed to focus on having well-documented proposals. The scope of work needed to be clearly outlined, communicated to the customers. We couldn't even use change orders because nobody knew what we actually sold them. You cannot scale a construction business without having the details in place. So that was huge. Getting the estimating shored up was a big transition for us. But then I needed to turn and focus on the operations, figure out what was happening. So I started doing ride-alogs, looking at what the project managers were doing, how they were operating. And then one day, I'll never forget this story, I actually show up at a job site. If y'all have ever seen Undercover Boss? I show up at 8 a.m., I'm like, okay, expecting the crew to already be there. Well, turns out they had to go to Home Depot. And believe me, as you know, I love Home Depot. But I should have had those materials on the job site, or at least have already had them ordered. I did not need to have my guys paid to walk around and shop. So they get to the job site around 9. All right, fine. Around 11, though, they realized that they needed some more materials. And instead of calling the office, calling a project manager, or even just sending one guy, all 3 of them get back in the truck, and they drive back to Home Depot. Okay, so that takes another 45 minutes. They get back to the job site around 12. Now it's lunch. Obviously, we got to take another 1-hour break, so let's go get our microwave, pull it out of the truck, plug it in, sit down on the job site. And I saw the customer. He was watching. I was like, man, I don't know. This isn't going to turn out good. The straw that broke the camel's back, 2:30, I kid you not. They needed to go back to Home Depot a 3rd time. That's when I get the call. Eric, what the hell's going on? You guys have done absolutely nothing today. Yes, sir, I understand. I'm on it. We're going to take care of it. Don't worry. But that's when I realized that we were not aligned. We were selling our jobs with a fixed price. And we were running them with a variable cost. There's no way to consistently hit your target profit margin. And so we transitioned to using bid requests and making them bid on every job and giving them a guaranteed amount. This is huge for us. We told them, hey, you tell me how long it's going to take you, how much you need. 5 days, 10 grand, great. I'll plug it into my budget, add my margin, go sell the job, and as soon as we got that job won, issue them a work order. You're good to go. And if they get the job done in 3, awesome, you get to move on to the next one. You're still getting the same amount. Now, if it takes you 7 days, that's on you. You know what happened? Miraculously, overnight, we had more accurate budgets going in. We could accurately price these jobs, but the execution, the quality, the speed had just dramatically increased. They were now incentivized to complete on time the first time. This is paramount to our success. We were now selling and running our jobs better with clearly defined systems and processes in place. The last major place I need to focus, though, is the back office. Accounts receivable, accounts payable. Boy, that was a mess. Probably should have started there, actually. When I started digging into the billing, it was like death by 1,000 cuts. There was no one huge gaping issue, but we found we were double billed, overbilled. We had bills on the wrong jobs. We were just struggling to manage this. The bills came in and, they just immediately put them in and just processed them and paid them out. No checks and balances, no anything. We literally were just trying to stay afloat. As soon as we put a process in where every bill that came in needed to have a PO or work order number, we started plugging the holes, filling the gaps. We just rejected everything that didn't have a work order or PO number on it. And if the amounts didn't match, it needed to go through approval process. Now, when I turned to the AR, we had over $800,000 of accounts receivable. That's nearly $1 million of your hard-earned money. Could you imagine if you just weren't collecting your money? And instead of focusing on collections, the owners were taking that money. They were collateralizing their AR, and they were taking out $200,000 line of credit one after another. Do not do that, people. Focus on collecting what you have already earned. That's why when you log into JobTread, your invoices are front and center. You need to make sure that you're getting paid. Don't just keep working. Get paid. I'm proud to say, though, after that 1 year, we grew them from 5 to 8 million in sales, and we increased their gross profit by 43%. Even more awesome, for the first time in 2023, they broke $20 million in sales. It goes to show, though, when you put the right systems and processes in place, you get the right people in the right roles, you can build a very successful and very profitable business. Back in 2019, it was after that 1 year, I ran that business 2018. At the beginning of 2019, I realized that what we had built was too good to leave sitting there with that one company. That's when I recruited Casey Foster. That's right. Round of applause for Casey Foster. Somewhere back there. Casey is the absolute best developer I have ever had the privilege to work with in my entire career. This man has built an incredible application and an awesome development team. I also recruited my father, Don Fortenberry, to be our CFO. Second time CFO for me. It's an honor and a privilege to work with you, Dad. And we got Scott Williamson. He joined us as our designer to make everything look great. That's why people think we're so much bigger than we are this whole time, is because Scott is such a talented designer. Thank you, Scott. So we took the first 2 years, we built. It was a grind, but we built for the first 2 years. And in 2021, we finally got to start selling. And we got it to 200 companies that first year. I want everybody who joined us in 2021 to please stand. There should be about 17 companies in the room. I have no idea what we sold you. I have no idea why you were convinced to join us when we had like a fraction of the features we have now. I mean, you didn't have tasks. You couldn't even schedule jobs. Thank you for believing in us. Seriously, thank you so much. 2022, we got it to 1,000 companies. 2023, we ended with 2,200 companies. Last year, 4,500 companies. Right now, we're already sitting at like 4,650 customers. This is incredible growth. But the best part is the impact that we have seen that it has made on you and your businesses. That's what fuels us. That's what motivates us. Our mission is to help you to grow and scale your businesses. Our vision is to be the standard for construction management. We're going to get JobTread into tens of thousands and eventually hundreds of thousands of construction companies all over the world. And we're going to do it by keeping it extremely affordable for all sized businesses. We're excited to continue working with all of you, our customers and our partners, to build the future together. And that's why we're here today. This conference is for you. This conference isn't just about tools or sessions. It is about you. It's built for you, for your growth, for your connections, for your success. And here's what I want you to take away from it. We want you to learn. Dive into the sessions, ask questions, soak up the wisdom from the industry experts that we have brought together here. When you leave, you'll be armed with the skills and the insights to become a JobTread pro. We want you to share. We've created spaces for you to connect with your peers, exchange ideas, inspire one another. The power of community is immense. And we know that the conversations that you have, they will plant the seeds for your future success. And we want you to grow. This isn't just about inspiration. This is about transformation. From actionable strategies to new perspectives, we want you to leave with a plan to stay, with a plan to be able to take your business to the next level. And lastly, though, we want you to have fun. This is a journey. We're not just here to work. We are here to also have fun and enjoy the journey that we are on together. The relationships you build, the laughs you share, the memories that you create, those are going to last far beyond this conference. So soak it up. At the heart of it all, JobTread Connect is about lifting each other up. Because when we learn, share, and grow, we don't just raise ourselves, we raise the entire industry. As I bring this moment to a close, I want you to feel this. The tide is rising, not slowly, but powerfully. And together, we are the force behind it. What we are building here, it isn't just a company. It isn't just software. When you can focus on that and you can realize that we are creating a movement. It's the vision of what's possible when innovation meets determination and when people like you refuse to accept nothing less than extraordinary. Thank you all for believing in JobTread and for trusting us with your dreams and for allowing us to be part of your journey. The best part, we're just getting started. So let's not just dream bigger. Let's dare to achieve the impossible. Let's not just build stronger. Let's create legacies that endure. And let's not just rise together. Let's lift each other to new heights that we never thought possible. Welcome to JobTread Connect 2025.